snowstorm.
Antarctica.
Ice scientists are penguins.
Antarctica, they're opening the abyss.
So a new discovery.
Antarctica.
Advanced
Antarctica. Climate crisis. Penguins.
Penguins. Nothing more than penguins. HotSR.com. Headline. World-class birder. That's right, a birder. To speak at GC Audubon Society about Antarctica. Who? Karen Holiday. A world-class birder who travels the planet chasing exotic and new bird and animal species, will speak at the next meeting at the Audubon Society of Central Arkansas at 7 p.m. Thursday at Westminster Presbyterian Church. Admission is free. All right, somebody find Karen Holiday, tell her about the show, have her listen to the show, you can grab a phone, do an impromptu guerrilla interview, and say, what do you think about the Nephilim penguins? What do you think about the Nazi bases? Maybe not the Nazi. Don't start with the Nazi bases. You don't want to go in too aggressive. Maybe start with just penguins, and then just be like, well, what about the large penguins? And then, a conversation can open up. Holiday's program, which will focus on her visit to the bottom of the world, is entitled The Seventh Continent, An Antarctic Adventure. Holiday, quote, enjoys seeing the birds and meeting bird watchers from the countries and cultures wherever she goes, having already visited 60 countries as a tourist or on guided birding tours. Her recent Antarctica trip was her 7th and final continent. I'm telling you, Karen Holiday, just roll her whole spiel into the Canary verse, and she can just continue saying all the things she says, like, hey, I like seeing birds and bird watchers. And it could completely be true in the metaphorical or allegorical sense when it comes to the Canary verse. Holiday has served as a vice president and president of the Arkansas Audubon Society and is currently the field trip coordinator for the Audubon Society of Central Arkansas. Recently retired, quote, she enjoys going out on spontaneous avian excursions with other like-minded birding buddies. She lives in Little Rock area with her husband. Sounds pretty humble. Holiday and 7 friends and family members journeyed to Chile and Antarctica in February after a 2-year wait due to the pandemic. After complying with multiple COVID testing requirements, I'm surprised it doesn't say vaccines. It just says testing requirements. Plus weather delays, a Bay 146 plane in Punta Arenas, Chile, and a quick 2-hour flight over the Strait of Magellan and Cape Horn to land on King George Island in the South Shetland Islands. She arrived in Antarctica, the, quote, windiest, coldest, and least populated of Earth's 7 continents, end quote. There you go. There's a picture of the lady. Looks like a nice lady. But yeah, this is something that can happen. And we also get a glimpse of, especially if we're in the States, what kind of journey it would be to travel to the bottom of the earth or the outer edge of the earth, depending on what you think the whole shape thing is. But yeah, I thought it was fun. Bird watcher. Looking for birds, fellow bird watchers. We're right here, Karen Holiday. We've been doing it for a long time. And we're not going anywhere till Jesus decides to come back and take his own. We got one more real quick Antarctica story. This is from upjobsnews.com. And I'm really hoping that this is translation error, because otherwise it's probably written by a robot. And you know what happens when robots write articles? Just pure absurdity. And the headline, for the first time, the authorities of the scientific system met in Antarctica under the slogan, Science is Sovereignty. A historic meeting took place and more. Yeah. The authorities of the scientific system met in Antarctica. What are you talking about? In a historic day, the authorities of the complete scientific and technological system met at the Barambio base. Now, again, this could be some kind of translation error or AI error, but it says the authorities of the complete scientific and technological system. The complete system. What is going on? It is the first time that the representative of the completely different S&T organizations meet in the most emblematic states of affairs and the nation that the nation has in Antarctica, with a federal imprint and underneath the slogan, "Science is Sovereignty." The Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation deliberate the route of actions to be carried out in one of the southernmost factors of the planet, the Interinstitutional Council for Science and Technology, CICIT, CICYT. What a horrible acronym. Who do you work for? CICIT or CICIT? CICIT. The principal coordinating physique for the sector, it's a physique, met on the white continent, the place Argentina has been current for 118 years. Quote, Antarctica, above all else, is an area of scientific and technological research. The world considers it a space for preservation and future. We have an enormous responsibility linked to providing knowledge that improves development possibilities. The future of humanity will depend on the reserves that places like Antarctica have. And if we do not preserve it from more knowledge, we will be in difficulty, said the minister, Daniel Filmus. In this line, the holder of the defense portfolio, Jorge Tayana, stated, quote, our gaze is set on the South Atlantic because it is one of the last fishing reservoirs. It is a correct strategic decision, which will involve time and a lot of work. But we know that your care will be increasingly relevant. That's why we're here. Then it goes into who they met. Quote, meeting in Antarctica served as a sign of sovereignty, the presence in a territory in which many nations request their share, maintained Filmus. In that, it is that Antarctica works as a pure laboratory and clearly displays two of the most urgent issues that humanity will face in the coming years: the local weather change and instantly human action. In this line, how does the MinCyt, the MINCYT, search to advertise options in the solely attainable means? By funds! Oh, they're planning to use funds, folks. That's why I don't know who wrote this article. Who's going to pay for this? How are we going to pay for this? With our funds? What? No, not our funds. I'll just read the highlight and then I'll wrap it up. The organisms underneath the orbit of the Ministry of Defense additionally contribute with scientific actions in the area. Quote, all Antarctic deployment and logistics are the responsibility of the armed forces. On the one hand, we are reactivating the Petrel base, which burned down in 1977 and was never restored. It will be very large, and it is in a favorable place at sea level and with a good landing strip, defined Tayana. And he accomplished, quote, the new laboratories will mean a qualitative leap in our presence. In addition, at the Belgrano 2 base, we are working on an antenna that will capture the signals from the SOCOM satellites, which are very useful for the Argentine economy and productivity. Signals from satellites are very useful, huh? Didn't think that was a thing. Tayana highlights the work carried out by the Naval Hydrology Service, the National Geographic Institute, and the National Meteorological Service, and the Institute of Scientific and Technological Research for Defense. And it goes on and on. Another highlight. You will get pleasure from... I don't know what this means, but it says it in this article. You will get pleasure from this information that I've compiled and distributed to you very a lot. And in it, we'll proceed to carry matters for you folks on a common foundation as a way to proceed to acquire info on matters which might be at the moment well liked, and it is our goal to have the ability to offer you this info. Again, I'm really hoping this is AI or some kind of bad translation, because otherwise, pretty horrific. Pretty horrific to say they take pleasure from this information. And that they will proceed to carry matters for you folks on a common foundation. All things that are part of the end times, folks. It's all coming together, which means it's all becoming unglued, and it's all both.